The most terrifying and unexplainable thing that I've ever experienced happened to me a few years ago. And you're going to think I'm insane after you hear what I'm about to tell you. And I've only told a handful of people this since it happened. But I was visited by what I can only describe as a poltergeist one night. The most paranormal and the darkest, scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And still to this day, I don't know what it was. And I pray that it never happens again. But if you want a scary story, here's what happened. I was about 25 years old at the time. I had just gotten a new girlfriend, and we moved in together. And this was the first time I had been in a family situation. She had 2 young kids. They were 5 and 8 years old at the time. And we were very excited to be starting this new life together. We moved into a single wide trailer out in the middle of nowhere. I'm from Kentucky, so we're in the middle of nowhere. We're in the woods, very remote, and we were happy. Life was good. We were starting this new life together, me and her and the kids, and everything was great, we thought. This was a 3-bedroom trailer, so there were 2 smaller bedrooms at the back side of the trailer, which were the kids' rooms, and there was a bigger bedroom on the far end of the trailer, which was our bedroom. And within a couple months of living there, some very strange things started happening. So one afternoon, about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, it was summer break. The kids were out of school, and they had fallen asleep. Both of them had fallen asleep in their bedrooms. They were taking their afternoon summer nap like you do. And we saw this a good opportunity to go get us a nap in. So we went to the room, closed the door, and laid down and took a nap. About an hour into this nap, there was a knock on our bedroom door. I mean, a loud knock. This sounded like a grown man knocking on the door. And I rolled over and thought, well, obviously the kids have woken up. And Amber, my girlfriend at the time, she rolled over and said, see what they want. So I just yelled, what? And there it was again. A very serious, aggressive knock. I thought, what the heck is that all about? I got up and opened the bedroom door. No one's there. It's silent. Now this is broad daylight. The sun is shining outside. It's dead silence. I thought, what in the world? So I walked back to the kids' rooms. There they are laying there, both of them asleep. And this ran chills all the way throughout my body. So I went back to the bedroom. Amber's sitting up in the bed at this point. I said, you heard that knock, right? She was like, yeah, of course I did. Have no idea what it was. So, it freaked both of us out, but we chilled out and was like, well, I don't know what that was all about. But in just a few days, it would get much, much worse. Now, when I was a kid, I loved scary movies. I loved ghost hunting out in the dark at night with my cousins, looking through the woods, looking for scary things, getting freaked out. I loved paranormal things when I was a little kid. Like my whole life growing up, we would go and try to see something scary in the woods. But for me, it was always Casper, the friendly ghost. It was the idea of seeing some transparent apparition floating through the woods real fast. And oh, that's scary, and we would run away laughing. I could have never prepared myself for the darkness that I would feel when this happened to me. The almost demonic feeling that I got from this experience. I could have never prepared myself for what was coming. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's pitch black in the trailer. We're asleep in our bedroom. The kids are asleep in their room. And I am woken up by the most horrific screams you could ever imagine. And our daughter was 8 years old at the time. And it was Brianna's voice screaming at the top of her lungs directly outside of my bedroom door. Get it off of me. Help, help, help. I mean, screaming bloody murder. Help, get it off. And I jumped up. I'm in my underwear. And it's only 15 foot from my bed to the bedroom door. And this screaming is directly outside of the door. And there is thrashing like she's fighting, like she's being kidnapped, like someone has come in the house. My first thought is someone is taking my daughter out of the house. I have cold chills all over my body right now. She's screaming at the top of her lungs. I jump up in my boxers, run and kick the door off the hinges. And as soon as that door opens, the sound is now out the back door. There was a back door on the kitchen. Our bedroom opened into the kitchen dining room area, and there was a back door there. As soon as this door, my bedroom door opened, her screams are outside the back door, which is closed and locked. And she is screaming, "Help, help, help, get it off, get it off." And I run as fast as I can and kick the back door wide open. And it is dead silent in the backyard. Complete silence. Just darkness. No moon, just pitch black 3 a.m. darkness out the back door. I run to the kids' bedroom. I turned around as fast as I could and run back to their bedroom. And there's Brianna, just peacefully sleeping in her bed. I go to Dalton's bedroom. There he is, just peacefully asleep. I ran back to my bedroom, and Amber, my girlfriend at the time, was sitting up crying on the edge of the bed. She experienced the whole thing too. So I sat down, and it broke me down. I sat down on the edge of the bed with my head in my hands and started freaking out. What was that? What could that have possibly been? I didn't know what to think. I thought I was losing my mind, but the fact that she also experienced it, she heard the whole thing. And it was absolutely horrifying. Needless to say, I didn't get any sleep. She didn't get any sleep the rest of the night. I was hyperventilating. I was full-blown panic. I thought someone was kidnapping our child out of our house. And there was nothing. There was absolute silence. And I told her immediately, we have to leave. We have to leave this house. Something is very, very wrong. I had this overwhelming darkness come over me. Like the most negative thing I've ever felt in my life immediately when this happened. And following that, suddenly this house had this dark, heavy feeling all the way through it. And I knew we can't stay here. We have to leave this place. And we agreed in that moment that we have to find somewhere else to live. So we did. We moved. We found a nice little house for rent across the county, sitting right on the bank of the Kentucky River, and we got out of there. And the darkness never left that trailer. In between that experience and when we left, there was this darkness, this heavy weight hanging over that place up until we left. And we packed up all of our things and we moved. We had a grandfather clock at the time. An old, tall, antique, beautiful old grandfather clock that someone had given us, that we moved with us into this new house. We put this grandfather clock in the corner of the kitchen, and it didn't work, so the hands on the clock didn't move. Well, when we moved it in there, I set the hands to 3 o'clock, just because it was symmetrical and I liked the way it looked. Well, a couple weeks went by and I was standing at the stove in the new house now, and I glanced over at the clock, and the hands on this grandfather clock were bent outward, like someone had physically bent them forward. Now, the kids weren't big enough to reach up there to do this. Amber wouldn't have done that. Why would she have done that? And I didn't even tell anyone. I just bent them back and got a weird feeling about it. Well, some time passed, and we got pregnant. We had a daughter. And as time went on, our little girl started walking. And you know how babies are when they're just walking. They get around quick. I was sitting in the living room one afternoon, and Zaylee, my daughter, my baby at the time, had ran in the kitchen, and I heard the biggest crash. It sounded like the roof had fallen in on the kitchen, and I knew something bad happened. I jumped and ran in the kitchen, and my daughter, my little baby, was laying underneath of this grandfather clock. It had fallen over and crashed onto the ground. She was okay. She wasn't hurt. She was just kind of laying there, but it had fallen and shattered all around her and destroyed this clock. And I have a hard time not feeling like that, like something had followed us. And it turns out, after talking to a couple people close to me, some family members who knew the folks who lived in the trailer before we did, I found out that someone had taken their life in the backyard of that trailer. A man whose son had passed away, and he ended his own life in the backyard of that trailer. And I've wondered ever since if maybe what I heard was just some remnants of some leftover darkness that was stained because of what happened there. Was that the sound of the moments before that were just stuck there? I don't know. I'll never know what it was, what those screams were. And I can't help but feel like something was stuck in that clock, you know. And I know that's far out for some people to imagine, but it was very real. Very, very real. Too real, in fact. And I'll spend the rest of my life hoping that I never have to experience anything like that ever again. And it still comes across my mind a lot, and hoping that whatever it was stayed there. So what was it? I know that I'm not just crazy because someone else experienced it with me. The kids never even knew it happened. And I would love to know if anyone else has ever experienced anything like this, or knows what it was. What did I experience? It changed a lot of things for me. It brought back this fear of the dark, like you have when you're a little kid. I don't sleep well a lot of times, and I think I will forever wonder, what was that? And needless to say, I don't watch scary movies anymore.